Do you guys remember those little spinny toys? Yeah, me too. Nobody uses them anymore, but why not? Fidget spinners took the world by storm, and they were the newest wave of fun for kids everywhere. But then they simply disappeared, and in today's video, we find out why these fun little toys aren't around anymore. Be sure to subscribe. Fidget spinners have been around longer than you might think. Catherine Hettinger filed a patent for a spinning toy in 1993, but she allowed it to lapse after she couldn't find somebody to promote and sell her spinners. Let's just say she missed out on a lot of money. But this changed in 2017. On the morning of May 4th, Scott McCoskey explained in an interview how he had created a spinning device to help with his fidgeting. And from that point on, the rest was history. People who saw this interview were hooked on this little spinning toy and really wanted to buy one because it looked super fun. Because Catherine's patent wasn't around anymore, the fidget spinner market was a free-for-all. The first ever spinning toy that people could buy was called the Torque Bar, and Scott McCoskey himself was the one selling this. He released these in 2015 and immediately filed a patent because he felt like he had a $1 million idea. But many third-party companies started to create cheaper knockoffs of Scott's creation. Instead of using metal, they used hard plastic, which appealed to kids more. The spinner that Scott created was a huge seller upon the release of it. Even though it was expensive, people heard that it helped with fidgeting and ADHD, so they were willing to spend absurd amounts of money. Scott's spinner costed $140 to $200, and that might sound crazy to you, but the reason for the price was that the material used for it was real metal, and it was built to last. And because this was the only spinner on the market, he didn't really know what it was worth, and he didn't know what people were going to pay for it. The only downside, like we said, was that not everybody could afford it, but these third-party companies were smart. They made an affordable version that was basically as good as, if not better than, Scott's spinner. They were selling theirs for as little as $3, and the cool thing was that for $3, you got the benefits of the overpriced spinner too. Scott's creation was called the Torque Bar, and that really doesn't serve a purpose to anyone. But these third-party companies put a new name on this spinny toy, and this name would change the world forever. They named it a fidget spinner. Fidgeting is a part of everybody's DNA. If you think of the earliest people on the earth, we wanted to move, and we were constantly on the run, hunting and things like that. So moving in general was in our DNA. Rubik's Cubes, which were invented in 1974, use similar hand movements as modern fidget spinners do. So throughout the history of the world, we've been making toys to deal with fidgeting, but this toy changed the world. This toy also changed the world in a bad way too. Fidget spinners weren't all happy and good times. There was many times where something went wrong with a fidget spinner. Let's talk about this. Fidget spinners were selling for two reasons. They helped people who fidgeted, and they just simply looked cool. Many people just decided to buy these things and to not look into the downsides it might have come with. In 2017, a study came out where they scientifically tested to see if these fidget spinners actually helped, and the results came back negative. They didn't have enough proof and information to declare that these toys helped these issues, and the world was shocked. The selling point of these were to help with focus and productivity, but since they really didn't help, it was just a distraction. It was a distraction in many more places than you might think though. A couple of months after fidget spinners became one of the greatest selling toys on the internet, kids started to bring them to school, and adults would even bring them to work. People could not live without them. At first though, schools would allow it because it was to help kids pay attention and bring more benefits than downsides, but this didn't live up, as a month later, many schools around the US would be banning these fidget spinners from entering the buildings. These fidget spinners went from an ADHD helper to a distraction. This was mainly because kids weren't using these to help them, and they were using them because they were fun to play with. Along with being distracting, fidget spinners were also dangerous. Fidget spinners seem pretty compact, but once you open them up, they're made of many little pieces, and these pieces can be swallowed by children. Also, children can be distracted by these fidget spinners and then be put into a bad situation because of this. For example, if they're walking down the street playing with one of these, they're more likely to be hurt because they're distracted. Also, it's been reported that one main reason that schools were banning these because they were hitting other children. Now, I don't understand this, but I guess kids were spinning them and then accidentally letting go and they hit someone. Now, 2 questions I really need to answer are, why did fidget spinners really blow up and why did they really fall off? It seems crazy that something that was this popular is nowhere to be found a year later. Let's talk about this. Fidget spinners blew up by social media. That's no question at all. Even here on YouTube, many popular video creators hopped on this trend and tried to gain some popularity from it. And by doing this, it introduced more and more people to this cheap and fun toy. People such as Mr. Beast created videos titled Spinning a Fidget Spinner for 24 Hours Straight and Fidget Spinner versus Face.
Just cut my face open. I don't have a Band-Aid, so I'm gonna have to run to the store and buy a Band-Aid.
Once people learned about these spinners from videos, they wanted to learn about tricks, new spinners, and collections. If more people found out about these, then more people would look up the videos, and that cycle would continue to go up as long as people continue to watch these. There were also weirder videos, such as 10 times fidget spinners got kids in trouble.
In June 2017, a man named Chad Ralston was arrested in St. Mary's, Ohio, after it was discovered that he was using fidget spinners to lure kids and have them get closer to him. Once they approached him, he would expose himself, much to the kids' horror.
And 1 million mile per hour fidget spinner versus eyeball.
Yeah. You ready, y'all?
So he's gonna put ketchup on his face and then act like he's crying and act like he got hurt. This is a very bad fidget spinner video.
Man. Wow. Oh, wow. Ha, ha. You had to do me like that?
Most of the people who created videos on these spinners didn't really have a passion for them. They just saw that these were extremely popular and wanted to gain some fame from it. Another reason that these toys blew up was because of the fidgeting aspect. Parents would buy these for their kids because it helped with ADHD and helped to not bother classmates, and the final reason was that they were just fun to play with. I remember when I was in 8th grade, these were in style, and you better believe that everybody in my school had one of these. Even my friend who was super broke, he had one. They were cheap and fun, the perfect combination. With all of this hype surrounding fidget spinners, how did they disappear in just 1 year? And did something happen to them? Kids loved to bring these to school, but eventually they got banned from schools, so kids would have to leave their fidget toys at home. Previously, kids would carry these around all day, but taking them to school wasn't an option anymore, so they would have to leave them at home. And that strayed attention away from them. Also, the YouTube videos that we all have seen just stopped coming out, and people stopped thinking about them as much. Fidget spinners were going down in popularity, so YouTubers such as Mr. Beast and Top 10 channels stopped creating videos because it wasn't going to get as many views as it did before. Have you ever seen a McDonald's commercial on TV? You probably have, but have you ever seen a Chinese restaurant commercial on TV? Now that you probably haven't, and now because you're seeing McDonald's in more places, you're more likely to think of that restaurant instead of the Chinese restaurant just because it was in your mind more and you saw it on the TV. That's what I mean when I say people don't think about fidget spinners anymore because the videos stopped coming out. Also, kids grew out of these and so did adults because after you spin it a couple hundred times, it gets boring and there's only a few tricks that you can really do with them. If you ever wanted to purchase a new one, they all basically spin the same way. There isn't really one that's faster or smoother, they just look different, so that isn't that much of an upgrade. There are many different fidget spinners as you increase the prices. Some of the most expensive fidget spinners have exclusive features. You guys know about those fidget spinners that they have at the gas station, right? Those are about $10 and they're pretty much a ripoff. If you thought $10 was a ripoff though, just wait until you hear this. There's a fidget spinner called the Caviar Jeweler's Spinner, which is plated in all 24 karat gold. You can even request to put real diamonds all over it. How would that work? Like, would the diamonds fall off when you spin it, or would it hurt your hand? Let's play a game. I want you to comment down below right now how much you think that this full gold fidget spinner costs. Tell me what you think it costs and do not cheat.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So if you ever wanted to take your fidget spinning up a level, you can take out your life savings as well and spend $17,000 on a fidget spinner. Now once again, if you thought that $10 was a ripoff at the gas station, try to think about $17,000. And remember, we're talking about fidget spinners. I think I'll stick with the gas station kind. Seriously though, every single person on this earth has heard of these toys, I'm pretty sure, and most people have tried one of these spinners, so it's crazy that these died off so quickly. There were many reasons for this, but I feel like the main reason was just people got bored of them. Most things that blow up fall back down eventually. For example, who remembers those Heeley shoes with the little wheel on the bottom of the shoe? I thought I was so sweet when I would roll around town with that, and I felt like I was on top of the world, but eventually people stopped buying and stopped wearing these. This is a similar story to fidget spinners. I hope I answered this question in a quality way. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel.